One of the key issues that have to be taken very seriously in primary agriculture and farming is the working capital cycle. Now, the nature of farming means that there's a long season of investment, and only after this can cash flow be realized. As a result, a farmer needs to have adequate finances and cash to sustain them during the seasonal period where they are continuing to invest resources but are not yet enjoying any cash flows. Let's illustrate this by way of the early example of a tomato farmer or an orange farmer. Regarding a tomato farmer, they are going to have to spend cash to purchase seeds, labor, pesticides, fertilizer, water, fuel, and other inputs. From planting to the first tomato crop being harvested, they will have to wait, let's say, 80 days. And assuming they're able to sell the harvest immediately and also for cash, that means they have a working capital cycle of about 3 months. 3 months of pumping resources into a crop up till it starts yielding cash. And that's the most optimistic scenario. So the farmer's got to be careful, and they have to manage their resources, particularly their cash, to sustain the farm and themselves during this period. Let's contrast that with an orange farmer. An orange farmer faces an even more extreme situation in terms of their working capital cycle. From planting to actually reaping a harvest, it will be a minimum of 3 years. That's 3 years of cash outflows, 3 years of nurturing, 3 years of tending to, 3 years of fertilizing, 3 years of overall maintenance and upkeep and development of the orchard. And assuming that they're able to sell the first harvest immediately and also for cash, that means they have a working capital cycle to the virgin harvest of about 3 years minimum. A farmer who has to sustain such a long working capital cycle needs to have very deep financial resources or alternative forms of income, particularly when the orchard is not yet producing. This long length of the working capital cycle in agriculture is a big challenge for smaller and medium-sized farmers on the African continent. Frequently, they are unable to access financing from the banks to support them during the growing period. And this limits how much they can grow and invest in their crops or livestock. Ultimately, what this working capital cycle is about is the ability to manage cash flows.